Welcome back to Zach's in the Shop. My name is Zach. There's a shop all around me where I do all sorts of shoppy stuff. And this week, I was really curious about this guy right here. Well, it started about this guy. This is the new version of my 98807 2-speed brushless 12-volt drill. I've used this sucker for the last year plus, and I like it. It's not powerful, it's just handy, and I can use it in a lot of different situations. This is a new version, has a nice metal chuck on it, which makes it awesome. But I noticed something. I'm walking through Walmart, and Hypertough has made about 5 billion drills. It feels like. It's not. It's like 5. So I purchased this little brush sucker for $19. 1 speed, nothing special, just curious. And the other 20-volt brushless drill that cost a whopping $29, also single speed. So this week we're going to compare all these Hypertough drills, or all the rest of them, and we're going to find out, are any of these any good? Are there some that should never be purchased? And why did they make all of these? This is our first contestant. This is a 12-volt brushed single-speed drill. It is a 99303 from Hypertough. It has 18 clutch settings, a plastic drill chuck that is 3/8. For some reason, it has a magnet on top of it. Oh, I see. You can carry 1 screw with you. The drill weighs in at 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. It is 7 3/8 inches long. This is my battle-hardened brushless 12-volt 2-speed drill. It has a plastic chuck. It is the 98807. Unlike the first drill, this one has a battery indicator on the side. There's a small light underneath the clutch here, right above the trigger. Unlike the first drill, this light stays on for a while after you depress the trigger. But the first drill is easier to send SOS signals with. This one has 21 clutch settings, 2 speeds, plastic 3/8 chuck. The drill weighs in at 1 pound, 9.7 ounces, and is 6 1/8 inches long. The new version of the 98807 is very similar to the previous version. Big difference is there is a metal chuck instead of a plastic chuck. Still has a battery indicator on the side and the same light in the front. The chuck is still 3/8. It has a 2-speed gearbox and 21 clutch settings. It comes in a little bit heavier than the previous version, perhaps because of the chuck, at 1 pound, 11.5 ounces. This version is slightly longer at 6 5/16 inches long. This is the Hypertough 80017. Unlike the other 3 drills, it's 20 volts. Its light is located on the base near the battery connection. Still has a 3/8 chuck. It has 18 clutch settings, single speed. It weighs in at 1 pound, 10.9 ounces. The 20-volt Hypertough is very compact at 6 1/8 inches long. We're going to check the RPM of all these various drills and their various speeds. The first one up is the 12-volt brush drill, which has only 1 speed. Label says it's 700 RPM. The brush drill falls a little short. It's only in the 630s. Next up is the Hypertough brushless 12-volt drill, the 98807. This is the older version, and I've had this in the shop for about a year, a little bit more, and I've been pleased with it. It's not a powerful drill, but it does have 2 speeds, so we're going to check both of those. The label says 450 in low speed and 1600 in high speed. Low speed. Didn't make it to 400. High speed. And didn't make it to 1400. A lot of specs like RPM that you see on tools, they don't actually hit those RPMs, especially when you're actually using the tool when there's any load on it. Next up we have the newer Hypertough 12-volt brushless drill with the metal chuck. It's still the 98807, nothing changed with the model. Let's see if anything changes with the RPM. Label still says 450 and 1600. Low speed. Still doesn't make it to 400. High speed. So it looks like it's actually running a little bit lower RPM than the older one. Now we have the 20 volt brushless compact drill, I guess we can call it, the 80017, and we're going to check its only speed, which is supposed to be 800 RPM. It's refreshing to see we made it. The Hyper-Tough brush drill comes in at the longest at 7.4, followed by the Hyper-Tough brushless 12 volt newer version at 6.3, the Hyper-Tough brushless 12 volt older version, as well as the Hyper-Tough brushless 20 volt version, are both equal in length at 6 1/8 inches long. The brushed Hyper-Tough 12 volt single speed is the heaviest at 805 grams, followed by the newer 2-speed brushless 12 volt drill, followed by the 20 volt drill, which is actually pretty light comparatively, then the older 12 volt brushless 2-speed drill at 729 grams. The highest RPM goes to the older brushless 12 volt drill at 1388, followed by the newer version at 1312, followed by the 20 volt at 807, and then the brushed 12 at 634. So we have our 4 drills lined up, and this is my torque testing pine slab. We're going to run some screws into this pine slab and see what our maximum torque is on high speed for these two guys, and we'll test max torque on low speed for everybody, since these two are basically just low speed drills. We'll see how they compare with the low speeds on these two other drills and the drills we tested in the past, including the Hyper-Tough brushless hammer drill we tested last week. We'll start out with what I think will probably be the weakest, Hyper-Tough brushed. We'll start with this small screw, and if it's able to drive this thing all the way in, which I don't know, I have my doubts, we'll move up to a larger screw, but that's the policy we'll have with every drill. We'll move up if we need to. Run number 1. We have 40 inch-pounds. Run number 2. .48 inch-pounds. Run number 3. We have 42 inch-pounds. Now we have the older brushless Hyper-Tough 12 volt high speed first run. 20. High speed second run. 20. High speed third run. Busted out of 21 on that one. Power. Now I'm going to drop this one into low speed. We'll see what it gets there. Low speed first run. 54. Low speed second run. 53. Low speed third run. 53. Next up we have the new brushless 2-speed 12 volt Hyper-Tough drill. Let's see if it's an improvement over the previous model, which I've enjoyed for the last year. High speed first. This is our first run. Starts off about the same at 21. Second run. 21 again. Final run. High speed. Well, you can't say it's not consistent. 21 again. So pretty much the exact same as the previous model. Dropping it down into low speed. This is our first run. A little bit better than the older model at 60. Second run. 58. Final run. So our newer version created a little bit of separation here with the older version with a high score of 63. Last but not least, most likely not least, we have the Hyper-Tough single speed 20 volt brushless drill. Let's see how well it does on its only speed. First run. 67. Second run. 61. All right. Here's our final run. Best score yet, 69. The two brushless 12-volt drills are the only ones that have a high and low speed, so high-speed torque is equal 21 inch-pounds for both the newer and older versions of the two-speed brushless 12-volt drill. When it comes to low or single speed, the most torque goes to the 20-volt brushless drill at 69 inch-pounds, followed by the newer 12-volt brushless drill at 63, then the older at 54, and then the brushed 12 at 42. In the next part of the video, I'm going to use each drill to drive in these construction screws. I have 13 of them in a row, and we're going to see which one of the drills drives them in the fastest. And of the two-speed drills, can the two-speed drills drive them in on top speed? We'll be starting with our Hyper Tough 99303, which is the brushed single-speed 12-volt version. 3, 2, 1. Next up, we have my trusty brushless, slightly older 12-volt Hyper Tough drill. We're going to start in high speed, and if we can't cut it, we'll move to low speed. 3, 2, 1. So the older version of the brushless drill did a good job, the 12-volt. So let's see if the newer one improves in speed over the older one. 3, 2, 1. Next up, we have the Hyper Tough brushless single speed drill. Doesn't have a high speed, so it's going to hinder it a little bit on this test. We'll see if it can make up ground with the extra torque that it has. We'll see if it works. 3, 2, 1. The newer 12-volt two-speed brushless drill was the fastest during the construction screw test at 24 seconds, followed closely by the older version at 25 seconds, followed by the 20-volt brushless at 35 seconds, and then way behind is the brushed 12 at 44 seconds. In the next test, I'm going to take each one of these drills and we'll use this 3/8 self-feed spade bit and drill a few holes into a piece of treated 2x4. We'll see how each one of the drills will do. The multi-speed drills will start in high speed, and if they can't do it, they'll switch to low speed. First up is our Hyper Tough 12-volt brush drill, single speed. 3, 2, 1. Next is our Hyper Tough brushless two-speed drill, the older version. Set in high speed. 3, 2, 1. Switching to low speed. Next up, we have the newer two-speed 12-volt brushless Hyper Tough. We're going to start in high speed. I suspect that we'll have to switch to low speed because the high speed torque of this drill and the old one is pretty much the same, and the old one had to switch. 3, 2, 1. Switching over. Last, we have the Hyper Tough 20-volt drill, brushless, single speed. This might be the time for this drill to shine, because that in-between torque of these single speed drills kind of gives them an advantage. They have a little bit higher RPM than the low speeds on the 12-volt drills, which means they could probably drill these holes a little bit faster. I'll be interested to see if the 20-volt comes out on top in this one. 3, 2, 1. This drill did just drop this spade bit. Chucks like this, these plastic chucks that are on both of these drills, the 12 and the 20, I've noticed to have a little bit more difficult time holding on to these drill bits and spade bits. Well, it was the 20-volt brushless time to shine in the spade bit test, coming in at first at 18 seconds, followed by the brushed 12 at 22 seconds, the older brushless 2-speed 12-volt at 28, then the newer at 32. If you're working with delicate fasteners, you may want to use the clutch on these drills. And the clutch, you see, is a dial that wraps around here and actually limits how much power a drill will deliver to a fastener. So the lower it goes, a little bit of ASMR here, the weaker the drill will be. It'll cut out at lower and lower torques. We're going to test all of our drills at the lowest clutch setting of 1, a midway clutch setting depending on how many settings they have. For example, this one has 21, so I'd probably just choose 11. And then we'll test them at 21. But instead of testing torque this time, we'll use actual fasteners and see how they look when each one of these drills uses the clutch. First up is our Hyper Tough 12-volt brushed single-speed drill. First clutch setting. As you can see, this one slips, the clutch engages, but it actually doesn't stop turning the screw a little bit. But you see it kind of cuts out almost right when we started. Now clutch setting number 9. We have about ½ an inch sticking up above the board. Clutch setting 18. That one cut out right as we hit the board. And when you're doing a project, you can kind of play with this to see what the proper setting is, so you can sink all of your screws at the same depth. Now we have the newer version of the Hyper Tough 12-volt 2-speed brushless drill. Clutch setting number 1. Maybe a little bit deeper than the first two. Clutch setting 11. Almost sunk the screw on this one, so it's a little bit deeper than the previous models. Clutch setting 21. Well, that didn't cut out at all. Now we have the 20-volt Hyper Tough. Clutch setting number 1. So it sunk at the deepest of any of them so far. Clutch setting number 9. Almost the same as the new 12-volt brushless, a little bit deeper. Clutch setting 18. That one sunk it right below the surface and stopped. Have the older version of the brushless 2-speed 12-volt. Clutch setting 1. Pretty much cuts out almost immediately. Clutch setting 11. Cuts out about a ½ inch above the board. Clutch setting 21. Sinks it almost just barely below the surface here. So pretty much where I would probably set it for this particular piece of lumber and screws. So let's reflect back quickly, because there's so much going on in the video and so many drills, it's kind of easy to get mixed up. The Hyper Tough 12-volt drill is single speed. It's only $19, so it's the cheapest one of all of these. But even it being the cheapest one, I don't think it's something that is worth buying 99.9% of the time. I can't think of the reason why that you would want to buy this. I just don't see why anyone would want this drill. And the reason is, with the Hyper Tough brushless 12-volt 2-speed drill available, and it's been $30-some ever since I've seen it, as long as it stays at that price, there's no reason to ever buy the other drill. You spend $10 more, you get a feature-rich drill comparatively, with more power, with a metal chuck. It just seems like a no-brainer. It's got 2 gears, it's got the battery indicator. There's a lot of different things that this drill offers that the previous one doesn't, and $10 just doesn't justify going for the other drill, in my opinion. Even at full price, if this was $45, I would still probably buy this one over the other one, because this one I would actually be comfortable taking to certain trade positions. Like I was an HVAC service tech for a long time. This would be fine for that. And the other one would not. So this is a more versatile drill, definitely worth the extra money. That's my opinion. I'm not going to go into the older version because I don't think the older version will be available much longer, if at all. So this 20-volt drill is a little bit of an oddity because I can see you getting this drill for your house. Just like keeping around the house, if you got to run a few screws in or drill a couple small holes, this drill would be fine for that. It's like the better version of the 12-volt brush drill. They're both single speed, they're both plastic chucks. This one's only $29. It offers a lot more torque and more RPM than the 12-volt drill, so it can do a lot more tasks around the house. It's not at the level where you're going to take this thing to work, but it's probably decent for your house. So I could definitely see you doing that, especially if you already have this battery platform. If you have a couple hyper tough tools that are 20 volt, then that's a no-brainer for around the house then. So now let's take a look at the actual scoring and rankings to see where they came out. So let's see how all of our hyper tough drills fare on the scoring chart. I created a separate chart for drill drivers because the hammer drills really belong on their own little chart. So we have hammer drills and drill drivers now. We have all four models right here. We have the Hyper Tough 98807. I'm not going to go through all the numbers again because you can see them on the screen and there's just too many of them. I take all the different measurements and turn them into scores, and we add them up to create a total score so we can see which drill driver is the best. Now, throughout the categories, I'll just highlight some stuff. The heaviest was actually the 12-volt brushed. The lightest was the old version of the 12-volt brushless drill, but the 20-volt drill is actually pretty light at 763 grams. The brushed drill, the only one in the lineup, the 12-volt, was the longest by far at 7 3/8 inches long. If you look over at high torque and the score, you'll see that two of the drills don't have scores. It's because they are single speed drills, and I put those scores with the low torque scores. Now, low torque, the king goes to the Hyper Tough 817, which is a 20 volt. It's single speed. They create with these single speed drills kind of best of both worlds, where it has a little bit higher RPM than a low speed on a 2-speed drill, and it has a little bit more torque than that high speed. Try to get kind of a compromise there, and because of that, it scores the highest on low end torque at 69 inch-pounds. If we go over to RPM, we can see that the older 12-volt brushless has the most RPM at 1388, and then the lowest RPM goes to our 12-volt brushed at 634. Torque per inch, exactly what it sounds like. How many inch-pounds of torque per inch of drill length? The highest was the Hyper Tough 817, the 20-volt. Because it's so short, it's 6 1/8 inches long, it has that 69 inch-pounds. It comes in first at 11.3. Last place, 12-volt brushed at 5.7. If we look at the pricing, we can see that all of them are really, really affordable. I put the actual price of the new 12-volt brushless drill because I'm assuming it won't be on sale forever. At that price, it gets a score of 22.5, the same as the old drill. The new 20-volt drill is $30, so it gets a 15. And the Hyper Tough 12-volt brushed is the cheapest at $20. It gets a 10. So who's the winner here? Let's take a look at the final standings. First place goes to the new brushless 12-volt Hyper Tough at 140, followed by the Hyper Tough brushless 12-volt old version at 139. Pretty close, pretty much the exact same. When it's that close, it's pretty much a tie. The brushless 20-volt single speed at 128. The 20-volt's kind of an odd duck. It's a little bit better than the 12-volt brushed drill because the brush drill comes in at 95. I don't know why you're going to buy that one. Like I said before, no one should buy that one. Do not buy that drill. It's the mistake of a lifetime. No, that's overblowing the situation, but I don't see the point of buying that drill. I hope everybody is enjoying the videos. I now have opened up my channel membership so you can support the channel that way if you want to. By doing so, you get early access to videos, maybe a couple days in advance. And later on, I'll probably give away some of these tools as well. But I'd like to get a few channel members before I start doing that, so it's just not the same guy winning them every week. That seems counterproductive. Thank you all for watching. God bless all of you. I'll see you on the next one.